First, it means taxing the rich. It does mean that. I don't want to hear, as the governor's talked about, oh, they're going to move to Palm Beach. No, they're not. They're not. You know who's leaving the state? The numbers bear it out. Folks who make between $30,000 and $60,000 a year. Vast majority of folks who are leaving the state. And you know why they're leaving the state? Because they can't afford the state. So let's stop with the narrative. That's easy to get sucked into if you're in power and you just want that donor base to keep writing your checks. And actually say the truth, which is we can afford to share our prosperity. We're the third largest economy in the country, $254 billion budget. We're the ninth largest economy in the world if we were an independent nation. Meanwhile, we had the largest wealth inequality gap of any state in the entire country, in the great blue state of New York. We can do better. We can do better. And here's how we can manage these resources effectively. Let's talk about housing. I mentioned tax credits and private equity all in housing. And there's things that we could be doing that are low-hanging fruit, by the way. The governor has rejected a statewide rental assistance program that the state Senate and state assembly have proposed multiple times. They said $250 million to make sure that every single individual who's otherwise eligible for federal HUD assistance, which they're not getting because, go Colgate, sorry. Because of Trump's cuts. Why can't we make sure that 7 out of those 10 folks who are not getting the money they're owed, the state can pony it up and make sure that there's actual security in a meaningful way? Or how about funding, Governor, like you said you would, the first-time home buyer grant program to ensure that our young people can actually put a down payment down on a house when they come across when they want to raise their family in? And how about rent stabilization across the state? Right now, it is incredibly hard for localities, absent the cost burdensome endeavor of a vacancy report, to pursue a plan to stabilize the rent where they think is appropriate based on publicly available data. The REST Act, which I support, would change that and make it easier for localities to stabilize the rent if they see fit, protecting the folks who are being challenged economically as a result of the marketplace. We need to build off-market, permanently affordable housing, and we need to leverage the full capacity of the state to do it. And simply nibbling around the edges, giving tax credits to developers and hoping it somehow trickles down, that is not it. It's not it, and it hasn't been working. Healthcare. Premiums going up, deductibles going up, co-pays going up. Our small businesses are being jacked up as a result.
Say it again.
Jacked up. Farmers as well. I talked to so many farmers when I was in Congress and I heard about this, and now as Lieutenant Governor. You know, one of the biggest cost burdens for our small family-owned farms is how they're going to find health care for themselves and the labor force. Like it's hard to sustain yourself, particularly with what's going on. It was already hard before Trump, honestly, but he's only exacerbating the problem with healthcare. You know, he's making it a lot worse with the cuts. I think it's time that we have a single-payer system in New York. And the good news is we have the New York Health Act here. So it's not like we have to manufacture it. This has been on the books for a long while here in New York. Now listen, every state has a responsibility to figure out how to be that laboratory of experimentation for the country. And New York needs to be that laboratory. New York needs to show and prove that a single-payer system can work for everybody. That means no co-pays, no premiums, no deductibles. It also means dental, vision, long-term care, mental health care. And it also means giving small business owners a chance to actually sustain themselves without having to worry about employer-based insurance. Same thing for our farmers. It actually creates more vibrancy in the economy because now folks can move about and not worry about losing their insurance if they leave their place of work. And by the way, study after study shows net savings of about $16 to $17 billion annually. 90% of folks will end up paying less and getting more. Doesn't that sound good? Yes. Sounds good to me.